Hello, it's Coffee Chat Monday, and today's topic is going to be staying motivated to journal when you've fallen behind. I have some journal pages to catch up on. No joke, a whole week's worth, actually, in the Hobonichi, which is my daily pages where I journal. And I was supposed to be doing this for Vlogmas. I have the Create December prompts, and this past week, I should say, has been crazy. Crazy busy, crazy emotionally, crazy. Just a crazy week. Sometimes real life interferes with our uh, uh, journaling, planning, um, the best laid plans and all that. I looked at those pages, those empty blank pages, and I immediately felt completely overwhelmed. Just overwhelmed. And I was creating a video for Patreon and a journal with me, and I was catching up with some pages in my red journal, in my main journal, and I, I realized that I don't pressure myself in that journal anymore to journal every single day. I don't pressure myself to do 2-page spreads in there. Sometimes I'll combine 2 days, which is what I did when I was creating that journal video. I combined 2 days because I had Victor Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. When I picked him up from school, I checked to see if he's got homework and I spend time with him. Well, after I was going through the journal pages and creating things, I realized that one, when I'm in here, it's a special place, and he knows it's a special place. He knows he can't come in here by himself. He knows that when he gets to come in here, it's like a special thing. And I thought from now on, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when I have him, he can sit at that desk behind me, and he loves to do that. I will insert a picture. He loves to do that. And I can sit here and draw, and he can sit back there and draw. Sometimes I can film. Sometimes we'll both be just drawing. I have some things for him now to help with his reading and stuff like that. I got him some flashcards for the basic words, the sight words that he's supposed to know. We're going to make some games out of it, kind of like a Go Fish kind of thing. I'm going to be creative with that. I got him a little workbook that's supposed to be fun. It's an activity thing for me and him to work together at. And I'm also going to create some pages on some regular sketchbook kind of paper, drawing sketchbook kind of paper, and I'm going to create some things. I'm going to write the word, draw the picture, and let him color in the picture. Well, he can do that while I'm in here. Sometimes I can film because if I am drawing and he's drawing, he won't really pay attention to the fact that I'm filming when I create those pages. It'll be a little bit constricted because I'll have to do it here with the contraption that I have, which limits my space because of how small it is. But I think that'll work out a lot better than, either my trying to overwhelm myself trying to film when I have him quite a bit. And I may have him on and off quite a bit more right now. My daughter's got a new place. They're moving into the place. Her boyfriend's mom, who also watches Victor, has been sick. So I'm filling in. I was sick and she filled in, and that's how it goes. I was trying to think of creative ways to, one, spend time with Victor, to two, get some of my work done, to three, make what we do sometimes more fun. And while I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how overwhelmed I was with the Hobonichi pages. I mean, a whole week's worth of prompts and a whole week's worth of journaling that I need to kind of do. And when this is saving and then uploading, I will be filming me doing those pages. What I'm going to do when I film is I'm going to draw them ahead of time, either probably with pencil. Draw them ahead of time, get them all ready. That way, when I start filming, you'll see me going over it with pen, and you'll see me doing the art, and I can do the voiceover and talk about how I chose what I chose to draw and some of that stuff. I realized that I want to fill in those pages. Being motivated to fill in those pages, I've been working really hard to get back to journaling on a daily basis. And I have been doing some kind of journaling on a daily basis, but it's not always been the exact kind of journaling that maybe I thought I'd be doing or maybe that I really wanted to do. But in order to get to a space in my head where I felt freer and motivated and happy and inspired to actually do art and to do journal prompts and to create my pages, sometimes you need to kind of clear your head. Sometimes you need to take a step back. Sometimes maybe you need to look at it from a different perspective. So I'm going to tell you a few things that I do that actually help me that have to do with journaling, but don't always have to do with my daily art, document your life kind of journaling. These are not all of the journals, but I was sent this journal by a friend. And what I like about it, let me get to an empty page, is that up at the top, it has the day of the week, which you can highlight or circle, and it has the weather, and then over to the side it says memo number and it has a date. So I guess memo number could technically be your page number, which is how I use it. And I will oftentimes circle the date or highlight the date and highlight the weather or or write the temperature and then draw a little thing sometimes. But this is lined paper and it is right now it's my emotional dump, not my brain dump, my emotional dump. I've been going through a lot since July when my dad's cancer diagnosis changed to terminal and they realized they couldn't do surgery and regular chemo wasn't an option. They had a treatment that was just to help with quality of life for the quantity of time that he had left. Since then, I've been doing quite a bit of I pick up this and I will do an emotional dump of all the thoughts and the feelings and things like that that I need to clear my head of. And that helps. This journal, and this is number 2 of these. This is more of, I guess technically it would be morning pages, which is sort of the emotional, mental brain vomit. Sort of, it's a brain dump in a way, but it's not the kind of brain dumps that I do in my commonplace journal. I think I'd call it meditative journaling because I do this in the mornings, and my morning pages used to be where I vented. When I very first started doing morning pages, it upset a bit because when you're first doing morning pages, you're in that sort of a haze. You're half awake, half asleep, so it's stream of consciousness writing. And sometimes you vent on those pages. It becomes a place to complain, a place to vent, a place to, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to think, don't know what's going on, I can't journal, I can't write, I don't like, there's a bunch of stream of consciousness writing, and sometimes my writing would start out with, I have no idea of what to write. I'm not even awake yet. I need coffee. And then a few paragraphs later, it would say, I still need coffee. I don't feel like doing morning pages. My video yesterday really sucked. My journal pages yesterday were not at all what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Or I was supposed to get the kitchen clean and supposed to vacuum and sweep and mop and dust the furniture, and I didn't get a damn thing done. And that's okay because sometimes it's good that you have a place. But I realized that the more I did morning pages and the more I got in a habit of doing morning pages, the more positive my morning pages became. The more of a how I wanted my day to go my pages became, instead of venting or complaining or any of that about the previous day or how that week had been or what went wrong. The more my pages got to where they were more hopeful and more positive. And I have had a really big progression with morning pages. Sometimes my morning pages end up evening pages, and I'm okay with that. It's a different kind of journaling. So that's what this is for. And this is sort of my, every now and again I get like shots of inspiration, and I will oftentimes write those down briefly in the commonplace journal. But I wanted a place to keep my ideas for videos, for projects, for the house, for anything else where I could actually kind of keep an index and label things, and where it was sort of a ongoing idea place for different projects. And that way I could put like a little check mark by something that I actually did and started. And so that's what this is for. Now, I don't get in those journals all the time. The morning pages, I do. The emotional dump journal, I have been a lot more lately since July. As a matter of fact, in about 3 or 4 months, I'm probably going to need another one, another little journal. When I do those kinds of notebooks, they're aligned. I don't draw in those notebooks. I don't do any artwork in those notebooks. It's strictly writing and getting that stuff out, no matter what kind of thing it is, helps me get to a place where my mind is free and clear of some of the junk, and I can actually do my document your life, memory keeping, Hobonichi style journaling. And I find that once I've done a kind of a brain dump and an emotional dump, because this is the emotional dump, this would be the mind dump, the idea dump, and then this commonplace journal, which is right back here, is the everything else: quotes, notes, research, reviews, ideas. Sometimes, like when the idea first comes to me, that's what goes in here. Now, every now and again, I might put a picture, like one of those memes, like a quote kind of thing. But normally, I don't do very much, believe it or not, I don't do very much drawing in this. I do on occasion put a sticker or something. I will on occasion do that. On occasion, I will do a tiny bit of watercoloring if it's, something that I feel warrants a little bit of decoration. I will do that. But I usually save the decorating portion for my journal pages, or sometimes my planner pages. That's just a really good way for me to get back into sort of the swing of things when I've taken a break. Because looking at those blank pages like that, I am not normally intimidated anymore by a blank page. But when I'm looking at a whole week's worth of journaling that I need to catch up on, and technically, if it were in the red journal, I could just maybe do a 2-page spread and do a bunch of little drawings that kind of encapsulated that week, that showed that week. Do maybe a picture and maybe a couple pictures and a few drawings, and wrote in the middle of it, kind of did it around or whatever, depending on what I wanted to do, and write sort of how that week went. And that will work. I sometimes can do that. And if it were the red journal, which is the main journal, and it's not predated, I could do that. But since it is the Hobonichi, and the Hobonichi is dated, and I wanted to chronicle, now I'm thinking, well, I needed to get to a mind space, a head space, where I could actually do that without feeling so overwhelmed. Because if you get too overwhelmed, then you're not really going to want to do it. If you allow yourself to be that overwhelmed, you're really not going to want to do it. I did a brain dump, did an emotional dump. I cleared my head of all of that, and thankfully, creating pages and for in my red journal, in the main journal, that's the Taroko Design Enigma. I use that as it's the main memory keeper, document my life kind of journal. I like doing the prompts in the Hobonichi, and I try to take real life things with that prompt though. And I find that when I was doing those pages and I was doing the voiceover for some of that, I realized that I really was excited about filling in it. I was a little bit overwhelmed. So like I said, I did an emotional and a mind dump on the journal pages and these journals, and I felt a lot better. Getting past that, stressing myself out over it, and looking at the blankness of the pages felt intimidating. Once I started thinking about, well, you know what? I have these prompts. I can look at the prompts and I can think about something, because I had Victor for the majority of this past week, and I can draw. I got him new tennis shoes. I did some art. Me and him did some art. We created some Christmas cards. We did a bunch of fun stuff, and we watched some Christmas movies. We went outside and we played outside for a while. He helped me cook. So there were quite a few things that I could journal about depending on what the prompt is. And I thought, there's no reason to be intimidated. However, if it were in my red journal, in the main journal that I document my life in, that's more memory keeping and that kind of thing, I would, if I were behind and I really did want to catch up, I would be writing notes on post-it notes, and I will oftentimes, oh, it's back there, I will oftentimes put a little word, like I'll put pick, and I'll put a post-it note and I'll write something down, and then I know that there's a picture that's supposed to go with that, and then over on the other side I'll put another post-it note and I'll put sketch blah blah blah, and then that way I have a pretty good idea of what I wanted to put on the page, so when I go back to the page I can create that page. I also will sometimes write post-it notes, write on post-it notes, and put the thoughts and feelings and ideas that I had about that page, and then I can do whatever I want to as far as drawing goes if I don't have like a certain image in mind to draw or an actual picture to put down on the page. And that way when I go to fill out my page in my journal, I'm not stuck going, what the hell did I do that day? What was I thinking about putting it on my pages? What went on? What happened? And I have a pretty good idea of what I can do if I take some notes and I put them on post-it notes and I put them in the journal. I've been doing the post-it notes since I very first started the Hobonichi of journaling. I watched a video a good while back, long time ago, and somebody had mentioned that, and I want to say it might have been Miss Vicky B. I went back and looked at one of her videos that had to do with staying motivated to journal, and she mentioned the post-it notes, and I'm pretty sure that's the place that I got the idea from originally. So I just thought that I'd share that with you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, a great week. I'm going to go save this and go catch up on some journal pages. I hope you have a great one. I'll see you again soon. Bye.